Okay, my videos on these things, I'm actually not talking out my fucking backside in, just talking crap to you. So you can know what I'm doing. Yeah. So, having slightly bigger than that, but that's just down to injuries really. But I'll digress and get back to the subject at hand. Usually bodybuilding community, physique, whatever, and calves. I can't see the problem at all. Why people bitch about them so much? Go, I can't get them any bigger. Oh, they're hard to do. I don't know what I'm doing with them. But yet their upper bodies are really good. Not naming any people because I'm not into that sort of stuff anyway. But basically, why are your calves not growing? Okay. Firstly, the problem you will have is that these things you use them every single day. Okay, you could argue that if you sit up and down on a chair, effectively using your quads and hamstrings as sort of squat, but these are used functionally a lot more than you see your quads are each day. Why don't people grow in calves? Probably a lot to do with diet. Probably a lot really to do. I mean, obviously it's really poor lighting, so you can't see over. For training in a proper gym, you can see all the splits and stuff in there. Yeah. So, what's the problem then? Okay, I think the problem is that people just think, okay, I'm going to train them like everything else, and that's where the problem starts because these muscles are not like everything else. If you think for a minute that you're going to use the same weight that you actually use every single day to walk on, I do 5 sets, 12 sets, you can do like 20 sets. The same weight you can use them to every single day, then you're in for a big surprise because that doesn't work either because that's what your body's used to. Okay, there's another way you can go, which is obviously ultra heavy. I mean, I was doing 600 pound calf raises, staying calf raises before, but the toll on my whole really back system really didn't really benefit me until the end. Just caused one of my rotator cuffs to play up a lot, so that's not really valid. Okay. Tricky thing about this right now is that people don't really think about it too much. They just think, oh, train the same as everything else, and then if it don't grow, it's it's just where I'm made, so my genetics are. No, it's absolute crap. You train a muscle and it gets bigger. It doesn't matter about your genetics, how big you are, how tall you are. That's utter fucking bullshit. You train a muscle, you break muscle tissue down. You fill it full of nutrients and it grows. Simple as that. There's no excuses at all for having really crap calves and like really big arms and just looking like freaking Johnny Bravo or fucking Earthworm Jim. No excuse for it at all. The way you need to attack calves is, I'll put an example. You look at runners, they really have exceptionally good calves. People biking have really good calves as well. Well, why is that? Because it's continuous tension, and a very a lot of these guys do go up a hill, and there's lots of obviously varied tension. So that's how you basically develop your calves, is by varied tension. Now, what I mean by that is that there are several ways. There are advanced ways. For example, if you get a step machine, like an older one, not the new one that moves like the clip cord. If you can sit on the end of the get on the end of it and just basically go on there with your legs straight and then use your toes to do a like a hill climb, multiple different strength ranges, that's what you call it now, like a hill with varied basic tensions. So if I had like 5 minutes on there, should get a sufficient enough pump in there, and obviously you're gonna cause the muscle to fill up full of blood. Now once it's full of blood, you can then concentrate on the meat and potatoes, which is obviously the heavy side of your calf training. I don't know why I put up problems with this. It's not particularly hard. You've got to just think of this muscle as an endurance muscle and train it as an endurance muscle. No point in doing 5 sets of just like pro lifting. You can hold it at the top, hold it at the bottom. All that's really good. The main thing is to not be discouraged. They're just there. They're like any other muscle. They will grow, but again, you cannot train them like you can arms. These things are used throughout the day, on very often, especially if you walk a lot, or even if you drive a car. Look at this, we do when you're driving. You know, you can up and down like that. See, that's your calves all day long. So you really have got to go really ultra heavy or just get exceptional endurance and basically flow and fill the muscles, and just really go heavy and grind out. If you have short-headed calf muscles, you're really looking at trying to elongate the muscle itself by lots of stretching. I know genetically, obviously, some people like myself, I've got fairly large muscle bellies on the bottom of my feet, even though they stop out here, so you probably said they aren't, but proportionally the whole thing isn't too bad actually. Yeah, so I'd advise you go on a what I call 5-minute session, which would be you, if you physically can, get to a machine, whether it be a toe push or anything like that, where you can basically strip the weight up and down within seconds. I advise you to do what I call 5 minutes, which is where you have a clock on you or a timer, phone, whatever you want to use. You need to make sure within that 5 minutes you are continuously working the muscle. There's no rest. You want to just pick a weight. You can do 15 on comfortably. Could be around 70%-ish of your maximum weight for say 10 reps. So imagine my 10 on the leg press for calf pushes is say 295 for example. I'll go down to 200 and then I'll keep that as my maximum weight, and then I'll go to say 115 as my other weight. So you want to do is 5 minutes on there, push out as many reps as you can. If you, obviously with the heavy weight, you are going to fail after a while because you know you cannot continue to do reps. That's why you've got to switch between the lighter weight and the heavy weight all the time. It will become difficult at first because obviously most people aren't used to enjoying the muscles that way, and you will work a lot in muscle endurance in your calves. You can do lots of stretching in between. You probably do that with any other muscle, which is what bodybuilders seem to not understand. There's no such thing as continuous growth. It has to be a point of where you're maintaining then that rapid change, whether that be a lot more stretching in between, another exercise involved, more time doing a certain exercise maybe. It has to be a change in your training so that you can actually provide a sufficient enough adaptation change within your muscles to actually do something with that. So I hope this helps. Again, calves are not very hard to do. You just got to realise that every muscle in your body is used throughout the day in a different way, and you cannot simply train everything the same way. It's not going to work that way. You cannot train exactly the same all the time. If you just do the basic, which is like deadlift, squats, overhead press, you do it all the time and wonder why you're not going to get any bigger. You really have got to change everything up. Everything has to be changed and you have to adapt to an exercise. Whether it be faster, slower, more rest, less rest, you really have to push everything to its maximum potential. So that's basically calves 101. Don't know what to call it really, but don't worry too much, it's not hard to do. You've got to just have determination and be open-minded enough to realise that it's no point you doing bullshit 3 sets of just like leg pushes and going, oh okay, that's going to be done. Not thinking about how it should be done. Again, lots of adaptation, high reps, low or high rate, just keep going for it.